race at Autodrome Chaudière. That award goes to Kevin Lacroix. Even Kevin isn't sure. He has to look down. What am I getting paid for now? The Fresh Gourmet Midway Race Leader, another $500 being given to Kevin Lacroix as he led at the midway point of the last race at Autodrome Chaudière. Ladies and gentlemen, that is your starting grid for the Proline Stadium 250. Brandon McFarland, you've got a pretty good view for the start of this race. There's probably a few more cars ahead of you than you would have liked, but 250 laps is a long time. And I watched you through practice today. That car looked really comfortable.
Yeah, it did. You know, we tuned the car in where we wanted, so, you know, we'll run our race and keep defenders on it and work our way through the field, and hopefully we're at the end.
Now, nobody raced today. Nobody ran a Legend, I believe. You have a late model Sportsman, don't you? And that stayed in the shop as well. What's the idea? All the focus going into this afternoon?
Yeah, definitely. The focus is on the Canada Series cars here, so, you know, it's a lot of work to run the late model and run the Canada Series, so we just decided to focus on that today.
What's going to be a successful day for you, Brandon?
Definitely a good top 10 finish. Hopefully we can break into the top 5. You know, that would be huge for the team, huge for our sponsors. So, you know, myself and Josh, we're definitely hoping for a good finish for the sponsors today.
Race fans, who'd like to see Brandon McFarland race his way to a top 5 finish here tonight? We've got a few minutes before we get underway with the national anthem. Andrew Ranger's trying to run away, but not that I can outrun you. I'm sure I can't. But Andrew, how exciting was it last race at Chaudière? You tracked down the leaders late in the race. You took the lead. Was it so much fun that that's why you qualified this deep in the top 10 today?
It was not the plan today, no. But no, like you said, we qualified 9th in Valley Junction, and the car was pretty good, you know, at the end, and I was able to catch the guys and finally win the race there. So in front of my crowd, my family, everybody. So it was just an amazing moment.
And this is completely different. Like you say, that's your hometown crowd. They were rabid for you to win that race. Talk about what it's like to visit St. John's, Newfoundland. How does this compare? How do the people down here compare to the other places we go in a season?
Oh, but it's fun just to be here. You know, it's a great town, great people. The people are just amazing here. So it's fun to be back, and I will try to win another one tonight.
There you have it. Andrew Ranger going to roll off in that 27 machine, chasing his 2nd consecutive victory. We're going to chat with another driver here, former multi-time series champion, who's been chasing victory lane for more than a season. It's eluded you so far, LP, but again, 250 laps of this racetrack is a long time. How much would it mean to win?
Oh, it means a ton for us with that WeatherTech Omnifab Benmark car. I mean, the whole team's been working so hard to prep a fast and reliable car all winter long. And I mean, to get back in victory lane is, of course, the first focus we have right now. So it's always great to come here in Newfoundland to see all the fans, and everybody's really passionate about racing. So super pumped, and can't wait to get going here. We should give a good show for sure.
It's going to be a heck of a race. 250 laps. There will be a break around the midway point where these teams will strap on 4 fresh General tires. And here's a driver. I watched your crew thrashing on this race car before qualifying, and then you go out and put it in the top 6. That's a great qualifying effort. Thomas Neveu, driver of the Home Hardware number 24. How much do you like this place?
Yeah, it's a super nice track, super fast track. I think it fits my driving style a bit better than the short tracks. So hopefully we can stay in the top 6 and move forward to the top 5 to be there at the end.
Thomas, your background isn't cut on bull rings like this, short tracks where it's real physical, but you're certainly doing a great job. What makes you happy at the end of today? What kind of a result are we looking for?
A good top 5, just a good strong finish to start the year, because we have two bad lucks on the 2 first race. So I just want to bring a good top 5 for the whole team who's been working hard all winter long.
Thomas Neveu drives this 24 machine, another driver looking for a top 5. And I'm not great at math, folks, but when you've got 15 drivers all looking for a top 5, that's 10 drivers that are going to leave here a little ticked off today. And angry race car drivers make for great entertainment. Ladies and gentlemen, we ask you please to rise and remove your caps as we welcome Tom Kipp to give today's invocation.
Good evening. Let's pray. Our Heavenly Father, we thank you for your presence here with us and this gorgeous day here in Newfoundland, and truly some of the friendliest people on earth. God, we ask you to bless our racing today, be with each and every driver, protect them each lap, be with our officials, all of our crew members, those working behind the scenes, and especially our fans here today, young and old, that we all may have a truly memorable and wonderful time at Eastbound Speedway once again. In Jesus' name we pray, amen.
Now we ask you to please remain standing for the playing of our national anthem.
Well, that'll wrap things up trackside. Good job, Adam Ross, and we are ready to pump it up. Let's have some tunes, Mike. Let's have some fun. Let's get ready to go. Eastbound Park, we are ready to rock and roll here tonight. Are you fans ready for some NASCAR Canada Series action? Let's hear you make some noise. Drivers getting ready to go. You got tunes on now? Okay. As we play music here at home, we're going to talk about this series to the live stream crowd. Michael James here with me, promoter. Is that your title? Manager, promoter here at Eastbound Park? Janitor. You're not the janitor, Mike.
The janitor.
Great to be here, Mike. I know you're happy to have the series, but let's go back to the previous race here and take a quick look at what happened in the most recent race here on the NASCAR Canada Tour with a little bit of highlights from our previous race. Just a moment's time. We'll get ready to go here. So, Mike, getting ready to go here. These teams have been pumped up to come out here. A lot of logistical stuff to get these teams here to the Rock. The ferry went away, so they've had to do all kinds of work to get ready for that, right?
Airplanes not working. You know, it's not much different than Edmonton. The boat actually plays a factor, but, you know, it allows the truck drivers to take a break on that long journey and enjoy themselves on the boat and take in some nice hospitality.
A little bit more of the culture here of
it's
Newfoundland,
like
Labrador.
the Newfoundland Love Boat.
Is that what we're calling it?
Yeah, the Newfoundland
I don't know how much
Love
the
Boat.
teams were loving that, but
Take your wife.
They certainly love being here.
Yeah, beautiful day here. It's absolutely incredible.
Clips from. Let's take a look at clips from Quebec, our most previous race at Chaudière in Quebec. Man, they had a massive crowd too. Let's take a look at what went on there, Mike. They had some great action there, and we're ready to take a look at what went on there. Some great views. This little bull ring here just put on fantastic action. These guys up against the fence the whole way. What a great run it was. The images are amazing. A little bit tighter here than Eastbound Park, but wow, what a great job the TSN crew do of preparing this race, and the images we get to see here. And looking at a bit of a 1-minute highlight package from our most recent race. That big back wall is like 6 feet tall, it showed you. It's pretty wild.
It's almost like you can send it up there.
You definitely can send it up there. It'll keep you contained. We see some good action here between, Paille drivers. Andrew Ranger and Marc-Antoine Cameron were both in it, but then Ranger just kind of came back at the end and grabbed the win away from Kevin Lacroix, and they were both happy as they both race out of the same stable now. And great win for Andrew Ranger there as we take a look back at our most recent race at Chaudière, Quebec. And now we welcome you back live here to Eastbound Park. Mike, it is awesome to be back here. Want to welcome all our viewers on Flow Racing around the world and TSN Plus here in Canada. We appreciate all the viewers coming in. Mike, if you've never been to Eastbound Park, maybe St. John, which is the metropolis near here where we're all based out of, what's your sales pitch to get all of us non-Newfoundlanders out here?
Well, there's just so much to do here in Newfoundland. And, I mean, the hospitality is unbelievable. The cuisine is absolutely incredible. The music's incredible. We have our own culture in the music industry. It's almost like a little Seattle, but a little bit folkier. And, everybody that I talk to, and from concerts from Leonard Skinner to Monster Trucks, anybody that's come here has always said that it's one of the top destinations. And that's what we set out when we started the Proline 250. We wanted it to be the destination of the NASCAR Canada Series. And I hope, what we see from the teams, you see them, some of them stay around till Monday or Tuesday. So
I can tell you we are super pumped that we have a late flight out tomorrow so we can take in George Street tonight and get all the perks that come along with that. I can tell you, though, after touring around with this group of teams for the past 3 to 4 years now, not one person has said, oh, we got to go back to the Rock. Everybody's excited to come back here. Well, even if you're not a big partier, like you said, the culture, the food, just the scenery. Things aren't this beautiful in downtown Toronto where we flew out of today. It's a metropolis, and it's not all that nice. It's busy and grungy, but, man, it's so gorgeous here. We had a first-time drone pilot with the TV crew driving in today, and George was just amazed at how gorgeous the scenery was on the drive out from St. John's.
It's so funny. As locals, sometimes we're a little bit spoiled sometimes. We don't realize how good it is. But, I've been all over the world, from Israel to Europe, across the United States and Canada, and actually lived in Atlanta. And it was at one point, 14 years ago, I was like, you know what, I got to go home. And we raised our family here, and our daughters are here this afternoon. So it's such a beautiful place, man, and I'm glad that we made it our home.
Let's talk about the weekly events here. If you're just joining us, the drivers are just getting buckled in. We finished our national anthems. We're waiting for them to be ready to go, and we'll get the call from trackside to start the drivers up and get these cars rolling. But, Mike, what do you do here on a weekly thing? And I don't mean to sound ignorant or stupid, but you got to educate us on what happens here weekly. What's your weekly racing stuff look like? What kind of classes? And what does this property get used for other than what we were seeing here today?
Well, the fans got a sneak peek of that today. For the first time in 3 years, we had all 4 of them here. From our next program to our young superstars, the Bandoleros. This year alone, we had a massive upturn from Bandos to U.S. Legends, and that field is starting to get tighter and tighter. We have 4 or 5 Bandolero champions in that. On the NASCAR. The classic hobby stocks, and then we go to our late model sportsmen, and that can get pretty gritty. And as you've seen last year, we had 5 local NASCAR Canada Series drivers. This year we had 3, and they all come from that program. And some of these drivers we've seen since they were 10 years old, so it's pretty incredible to see when they're actually out here in this big show.
We're just waiting for the call down trackside. Adam Ross sits by with the road track marshals getting ready to go. Grand marshals. Drivers take about 6 or 7 minutes to get buckled in. They'll work on getting their cool suits connected, make sure they've got their drink ready, make sure they have good driver communication. Then the officials will walk down, make sure everybody gives a thumbs up that they're good to go. Once they feel window net's up and everything's ready to go, we'll give them the command to fire engines and send them off. to get ready for 250 laps here in the Proline Stadium. 250 today.
Presented by the Chevrolet. Look at that beautiful H truck they got out here today. Little Duramax.
That's a beauty. I could say that my boss, who's in this field, told me to pick up a new Chevrolet. So I got a brand new Chevrolet Silverado a week ago.
Yeah.
So thank you to the boss, man. And I love my Chevy truck. It is awesome.
They've moved through Chevy for some time now, and you know, they've been involved with this track for 10 years. It's exciting to see them part of this series on the national level as well as on the local side. Top Gun Maverick as we get set and strapped in. And McDonald's down there with Adam Ross as well as Mr. John Atkins there.
So the drivers should take their final, getting ready to go, getting situated, getting their buckles in, making sure their comforts are ready to go. We talked about how the track will change throughout the night. We'll follow that story as we get to go. I think we're ready to send it down now to Adam Ross, who's ready.
For the most famous words in motorsports, let's welcome once again Program Manager Atlantic Lottery, Abby McDonald.
Drivers, start your engines!
Love it. Thank you, Abby, and everybody from Atlantic Lottery Corporation supporting this event. Multiple years now, Mike. It's always great when you get the government involved a little bit to help with the tourism end of things. You get the gaming in on it. It's just kind of a complete package that helps bring these events together.
It's been a long 3 rounds, 3 years of this deal, and we're looking forward to renegotiating on it. It's a long time.
It wouldn't break our hearts to come to this meeting. We have a good time, and hospitality said everything. Well, first we'll teach us to say it right. That's a squeaking. It said just we look the big O. Yeah, that's the easy way. That's so tired. There you go. Yeah. When we started talking about Newfoundland, right? That's how us Ontario was supposed to say Newfoundland. Let's go. These drivers are pacing out for a few laps. Get ready. We welcome Adam Ross to join us in the booth. The official voice of the NASCAR January series. Many years running now. Because he's old like that, Mike. Well, I'll go back here to Eastbound Park. That's been amazing. These past 2 years, you saw more gators than one Camry driver. 96 come back and double up. David Waffon gets it done. How about DJ King? We got so many stories to follow this, right? We get back to the top, another runs this year. You got Ryan.
Well, coincidentally, the last 2 seasons, that was this race.
That's a good point.
Because of that, it makes me look at the 96 and 27 but like Master has got a brand new race car for this East Coast swing.
talked about it a bit before we went on the air, but let's talk about it for our viewers at home. Major issues with the ferry and stuff this year, so they work on getting that one going. Ready to go here, green already out? Not yet.
One to go. One to go. We're going to double up the field.
Hold that thought, Mike. I'm sure we'll have to get under to that. Yeah, I don't know whether you and me, Adam and I are messing with me, but, you know, really? That's why they did it? Yeah, just so the fans can see the ball.
The Proline Stadium 250 presented by the local area Chevrolet dealers about to come to life.
Classic.
We will race to the halfway mark or thereabout. They will throw a competition yellow and all these teams can strap on 4 fresh tires. But Mike, you mentioned this. This racetrack's going to change so much as the sun starts to go down. So it's 2 separate races, but it's going to be almost on 2 separate racetracks.
100%, and you know, we're going to see a radical change once we get to about 7:30 mark. But lots of action on this track here, and everybody's starting to set in here, single file. But some great racing in the early parts after the first 5 laps.
They will take a moment to get settled in, and like Adam said, 125 is where they got to go. But we did see it in the last race where Andrew Ranger just kind of hung back, did not push himself, but at the end he had a prime piece of cake to go and steal away the win.
He did so, but you still have to make moves when you can. Donald Teach got into the back bumper of the 3 of Jason Hathaway. He had more speed, and he can see the leaders almost a full straightaway ahead. It's time to go. He'll make the pass on Hathaway. Andrew Ranger going to come through as well on the inside, and LP Dumoulin's going to pedal as hard as he can to keep Hathaway from getting back down the racetrack, and he couldn't pedal quite fast enough.
Everybody gets back in line. The best battle out there would be the Steyer's car at the back, but they've all gotten back in line now. Top 3 have pulled away. Thomas Laveau is kind of stuck in the middle there. He's got a gap out front, a gap to the back, and Donald Teach and Ranger right there. 2 drivers that I gotta feel are hunkering down to ride this one out, Adam. They're gonna let those guys run off and do what they gotta do as long as they don't find themselves in lap problems.
If Donald Teach has a shortfall, it's pacing himself. He just likes driving fast. And I think this is a racetrack, Mike, and we even watched it earlier with the late models that ran here. If you overdrive this racetrack, it will punish you.
Yeah, 100%. And you don't want to be stuck on that second line out there. It tears up the tires quite a bit. And we've seen those 2-3 wide battles, and up on the high side on 1, 2, and 3, and 4. We see a lot of tires get ripped up pretty good up there.
Lacroix, Cameron, Kennington, Naveau, Teach, the top 5, 6th through 10th will be Ranger, Hathaway, Dumoulin, Jackson, and Collins. The top 3 have started to string things out a bit. Donald Teach, we watch him as he runs along here in position number 4.
It's a marathon here this afternoon.
So this is a fun part of the race. You look around, it's a little bit strung out. But these drivers are all sizing each other up because the cars are handling well right now. It's not blistering hot like it was early in the day, so the track's not as greasy, but these cars will start to fall off. And as they fall off and the drivers realize, hey, I've got a better hot rod under me than some of the cars in front of me, we're going to see them start to make moves.
We kind of seen that last year with the 56. He kind of hung there, but he took on some damage. But there at the end, he started to come alive a bit. So let's see what they have in the second half.
And right now, 56, Josh Collins, he's running in the top 10. Running right behind one of the steadiest drivers we have in Larry Jackson, that 84 machine, the Dooley's Trucking 84. These are great laps for Josh Collins, for Brandon McFarland. I'm really impressed with Sarah Thorne keeping up with the pack. Might not sound like much, but that's a big improvement over last year.
And she looked like she had a little issue in practice. This is the first time in that car. Now, Brandon and Josh both own that stable, so, you know, they're quite comfortable with that car. Even getting adjusted to that new seat sometimes could be a little bit of an adjustment. But last year, Sarah Thorne was the top Newfoundland finisher out of the top of those 5 Newfoundland drivers. So I think once she settles in here, she'll start to come on a little aggressive.
Leader Kevin Lacroix starting to put a move here on the back end of the Cathcart 98. The veteran Brian Cathcart out of Peterborough, Ontario. He'll move off to the inside. And wow, Lacroix went way up high. And now that gives Cameron a shot. He took a look there at him as 74 went way up high around the outside of the Cathcart machine.
You run that racing groove the whole race. It's the first time he really had to step up to the outside. Different racetrack up there as Josh Collins gets right up on the back bumper of Larry Jackson, nearly making contact. But what impresses me, going back to Sarah Thorne, she's able to keep the car down the racetrack. She was burning off the right front in practice, overdriving the corners. She looks good out there, keeping the car underneath her. Even if you go a lap down, don't sweat it, just keep running your race.
You most likely get a chance to make that lap back as throughout the cautions, we do have lucky dogs, and Lacroix looking good again. Cameron looked like he was going to make a pounce there on him. Now let's talk about the 17 at Kennington. I mean, he's just riding. He can't catch the leaders right now. He's got a good margin over Neville. Is this where the crew just tells him just log some laps here, Deej?
Donnie Reinhardt, his spotter, has been his spotter for a long, long time. And DJ, even talking before the race, he said it is not his style to go out there and be the rabbit. He's going to do it his way. Last race, these were the 2 drivers out in front that Andrew Ranger caught at the very end and drove past them because we had a full 125-lap green flag run, and they used up their stuff. So at the end, Ranger just came and picked them off.
You got to wonder how tough is it for Lacroix to still hit your marks and keep your laps when you can see the Sarah Thorne car and you know you want to lap them, but what are you going to do? You just got to ride it out and not abuse those tires.
I'm watching Josh Collins in the 56, and I don't know if he's been charging the corners too hard, but that car looks unstable for him right now. Brandon McFarland is closed right in on him, and it doesn't look like he's able to drive it as hard as he was here in the early going.
Does look a little bit loose on exit for the Collins 56 there when he got back on the gas out of 4, and you're right, McFarland is all over the back bumper. And speaking all over the back bumper, Tej has caught Naveau, who had a big gap. He was in the middle, so maybe he started to burn up those tires and rolling himself back to the 80 and the 27 of Ranger.
These spotters will be in conversation with their drivers as well as the crew chiefs, talking about a strategy. We are now 27 laps into this, so in 100 laps, there's going to be a competition caution. So if you're anywhere back to, I would say, whoa, here we go. McFarland to the inside of Josh Collins for position. Collins drops the anchor, gets in front of Glenn Steyer. So that was a friendly pass. That's a go ahead. You're quicker than I am. See what you can do.
Definitely some spotters exchanging words up top.
And I was going to use them as an example. Right now, you feel all right if you're those 2, because the leaders have to get to Sarah Thorne. They have to get to Matthew Kingsbury. They have to get to Glenn Steyers. But once they start to do that, it's time for Collins and McFarland to pick up the pace.
Cameron also now starting to lick his chops because he knows when the 74 has to make a move, that makes gaps for him. Matthew Kingsbury looks like he's headed for pit road here in the number 9 car. He will pull off and head to the pit lane.
Sarah Thorne drops to the bottom of the racetrack. Kevin Lacroix looked as though he wanted to make his move to the inside of Thorne. She did what she's supposed to do, drop right to the bottom, force Lacroix to the outside. His car is not as happy in the high groove.
Lacroix will use Thorne as a pick to get clear. Cameron working to the outside now, and it gets dicey there on the outside of the Thorne 06.
Cameron definitely lifted there as it got a little snaky there in one.
It gets cozy.
Come on over. Get a little closer.
I'll tell you, there's no marks on the right side of Sarah Thorne's car, so they may have gone up the racetrack a little bit, but no harm, no foul.
Just look at the gap Lacroix was able to put, because it took Cameron another lap and a half to get around that Thorne car. And Lacroix now putting a second lap on the Cathcart 98 as they work up onto the back straightaway. Steyer's in the 56 going at it there as Josh Collins trying to hold off to 0.
Message delivered to Glenn Steyer's. Look, the leader's coming. We want to stay on the lead lap at the very worst. We want to make sure we're in the free pass position when you do go a lap down, or if you do go a lap down, he's got to get around Josh Collins.
Steyer's a guy who has, not a lot of smoothness. Glenn is an on-off type guy from his dirt background, just throwing that throttle down, and he's had to learn how to save his tires a bit here in this deal.
Might have been a little bit of contact there on the back stretch as Collins got a little loose there. But now the quad comes to the outside again. Full attack.
Race control just came over the radio and said 0 and 56, the leader's behind you. We need you single file. I disagree wholeheartedly. The 0 and the 56 are racing for position just like the race leader, so go around.
Wow.
Agree.
And Lacroix not able to make that pass yet on the 56. Have to hold up on the outside. Now gets clean off of 4 and can clear that machine. And Steyer's got in the back of the 56 of Josh Collins that time.
Again, got a little cozy. Look up ahead. Brandon McFarland put a move on. The 84 of Larry Jackson didn't quite work the last time, so he's going to take another run here. But the 23 of McFarland would love to get around the 84 Larry Jackson. He's got about 2 laps before Kevin. Oh, Glenn Steyer's way up the track in turn 1. Gets that car back under control.
Oh, Steyer's around.
Oh. Yellow flag, the first yellow flag of the day, and if you're a Brandon McFarland fan, that is a big break for McFarland. I think it's a big break as well for Josh Collins in the 56.
I don't know if you noticed, boys, but the track's starting to get a little greasy coming out of 4 there. After those last 41 laps, they started to click them up there.
Love it.
Little dirt track racing.
Glenn Steyer's all about the dirt track, that's for sure.
Is Loose really fast, though?
Oh, on the dirt, yeah.
Glenn Steyer's is still very gentlemanly when it comes to this series. You can still read the General Tire logo on the right side of that race car. The crew comes around to the right. They must feel they've got a tire going soft.
We'll take some tape off the nose and try and cool off the 0. That's when Glenn has, and you see the overflow there steaming up pretty good. Now they're going to go under the hood and see what they can do. Maybe get this thing cooled down a bit. You know, Glenn has talked about the heat issues. Adam, I know you helped him out get some gear a couple seasons ago. And when you come from an open cockpit sprint car into an oven like this, it's got to be a shot to the senses, so to speak.
No, you're absolutely right. These are, and to say that open wheel sprint cars, you've got air coming through the car. These cars, you are sitting in a sealed oven. So Josh Collins is up in the free pass position right behind the pace truck. So he'll be back on the lead lap. So both Collins and McFarland will be on the lead lap. Sarah Thorne 1 lap down. But I will say this, it looks to me like Sarah Thorne is much more competitive than she was last season.
Yeah, she definitely turned it up. You know, she's just 20 years old, you know. Her first NASCAR Canada Series, she was just 18 years old. And we've seen a big improvement from her. You know, she's studying engineering at the Memorial University, and I believe a lot of that is factoring into her whole package of her driver experience.
We were over at Iceberg Alley last night, and we introduced 6 of the drivers on the stage. By far the biggest pop was Sarah
went
Thorne.
through the roof. Yeah, we were behind the speaker, so I wasn't sure what she said to you, but she got the crowd going. She must have said something about the rest of the boys.
The second question, she was the only one I asked a follow-up question to. I said, but tell these fans why they should come out to Eastbound Park tomorrow night. I think she knocked it out of the park.
So 2 cars on pit road, Stiers and the 98 of Cathcart. Larry Jackson also came down pit road in the 84. We're back under green here, Adam. 205 laps to go. We're 45 in to the Proline Stadium 250 here.
Marc-Antoine Cameron looked pretty racy on the back end of Kevin Lacroix. Lacroix beats him off at turn number 2. DJ Kennington into 3rd. How about Andrew Ranger up to 4th in that 27 after starting back in the 8th spot? Great opening 45 laps for Andrew Ranger.
Biding his time, and I think great lessons were gained at Chaudier where he held on, was patient, had the car at the end, and they gotta think they're giving him those same messages. Hey, remember what happened a few weeks back.
You can give all the messages you want. The driver still has to receive them. They have to be paying attention.
Almost 1/5 of the way, boys.
Oh, that's a lot of math.
That's a lot of math. 1/5. Next time by.
Josh Collins, that 56 just does not look comfortable to me.
Yeah, on exit, struggling to get the power down and put it where he needs it to go. That's a good way to put it out, just not stable.
No, and with white wheels on his car, you can really see some brake dust forming on those front wheels as Larry Jackson tried to open up his entry to turn 3, but you can see the brake dust really piling up in those front wheels.
Larry Jackson will try and work to the inside. We're currently watching a battle between Jason Hathaway and LP Dumoulin on the stream as they battle for 7th and 8th here on the track.
Ooh. Who's coming out of turn 1 for the 24?
Thomas Naveau with a big slide there through 1 and 2.
Slide job.
Dirt track, here we go. LP Dumoulin trying to work to the inside of the Hathaway 3.
Sometimes when you see that sort of slide, it makes you look to the cars ahead and think, is anyone losing water out of their car onto the racetrack, making it hard for these drivers to get any grip? You never know.
Ranger going to make a move right now on Kennington to the bottom here, going into 3, side by side.
Battle for 3rd. Ranger will take that spot away. Not quite yet. They're wheel to wheel. 2 drivers know each other very well. Used to be teammates a couple of seasons ago. Now Ranger gets the nose out front of the 17. And DJ not going to give it up, because if he gives it up, then Donald Teague is going to fill that hole as well.
Now Kennington's pedaling pretty hard up there on the
Did they get together?
Yeah, there's a big mark on the 17 of DJ Kennington. Right on the driver's door, a donut, a General Tire-shaped donut.
Now Teague giving him the business off of turn 4, trying to keep him pinned up on the outside, and the 80 will clear the 17, and DJ Kennington shuffled back 2 positions into 5th, just like that.
Early part of the race, you know, is it time to be getting a little aggressive at this point?
Not
2
really.
spots. I'm sure he's not happy about it.
DJ will keep that in mind for later on. He and Andrew are pretty good buddies. I think he's sure there's nothing malicious there. It doesn't always help take the edge off. As LP Dumoulin really with a nice run on the back. Jason Hathaway right up on the back bumper of the number 3. Dumoulin to the inside off of turn 2.
If you recall, Dumoulin had a bad wreck here a couple years back.
It was a doozy.
So he's looking to rebound here. Hathaway, as you mentioned, Adam, longtime veteran here of this series. Did you say 146 starts or something today? That was? And his first visit here.
156, I think. But it was crystal clear in my mind until you asked me. But I think I might have it written down.
Big gap here now between the leaders all the way back to 3rd place. Andrew Ranger, Donald Teague running in 4th. 2 of the Newfoundlanders going at it, Mike, there in the 3.
Yeah, Sarah Thorne, a loose 56, took advantage, dropped to the bottom, and now it's going to take that one away from the 56 of Collins.
That's a big pass for Sarah Thorne. They are one straightaway ahead of race leader Kevin Lacroix. She is already a lap down. Once you go 2 laps down, it is much harder to get that free pass. So if she can pass Josh Collins, let's see if she can drive away at all from the 56. I have a feeling she's going to.
Has put a pretty big gap already on the 56. Looking at our leaders as they head down into turn 3 and 4 right now. Kevin Lacroix still leading. Marc-Antoine Cameron stuck together with about a 1-car length gap between them. Then it's a long way back to Andrew Ranger's 27. About a full straightaway.
You know, if it was Kevin Lacroix or Marc-Antoine Cameron out in front without the other one, I wouldn't have any concern about their tires lasting. But the fact that there's 2 of them and Kevin Lacroix is driving just a little bit harder to keep the 96 behind him, I can't wait to see what their tires are going to do around lap 110.
I kind of feel in the past couple years, Cameron was the dominant car and ran away. Trayton was the dominant car and ran away. I don't think we've ever had 2 of them where they had to battle and try and pace themselves against another dominant car.
That's a different dynamic for sure. As the field settles down all the way around the racetrack, the tightest battle is that battle for the lead and maybe the battle for third with Donald Teague in the 80 tracing down the 27 of Andrew Ranger.
Everybody just settles in now. We'll start logging as many laps as we can. Before we get to the lap 125 break, you can expect things will start picking up as everybody trying to gain a bit of track position. If you know you're changing your tires, you're all right to burn them up at that point. Now, Adam, will they all change tires here? Will we have anybody go 250? Can you go the full distance on tires?
I think life would be miserable if you didn't put fresh tires on.
Well, after post-race over the last 2 years, there's such a huge collection of rubber up from those general tires in the top of 1 and 2 and 3 and 4.
Glenn's tires in that 0 car. It looks like the crew is buttoning that thing back together. They drop it down off the jack.
I'm going to change tires on the right side by the look of it. At least a right front. Still at home, we're watching Lacroix and Cameron pace these laps. 178 still to go here from Eastbound Park in Avondale, Newfoundland.
Stiers rolls off from his pit stall. He is 33 laps down, so he's going to go out there and use this as an extended practice session. He may go out and look like a superhero because his rubber is much fresher than anyone else out on the racetrack.
Glenn is flying back to Montreal tomorrow to drive his dirt car at Cornwall, then heading to Toronto for a couple of days, and then flying back to Nova Scotia for next week's
trouble.
race. Sarah Thorne around in 4.
Sarah's going to have to find reverse here, which will be a little bit challenging. I'm not sure if she's kept that car running or not.
Oh. Nals hopefully didn't ding up the nose on that.
Reverse is not an easy gear to find in these race cars, so this could be a very frustrating experience for Sarah Thorne. So right now,
well, she got it.
She got it. The crew would be on her.
Tattooed on her body. Did you see that? Her tattoo on her shoulder is the gearbox.
It is not.
It is.
Mike James, you were full of it.
Yeah.
You were full of lies, Mike James.
I am not lying. Sarah Thorne has a tattoo of a gearbox.
Where's reverse on her?
It's all the way to.
So she took all that time probably unzipping the fire suit to look
at the tattoo.
That was reverse.
Where's reverse? I think she was. She didn't want to hit anybody there, so.
No, for sure. Look at that car. That's a great job. When you've been mixed up in battles, getting overtaken by the leaders, but to still have a car with really not a mark on it.
Quick stop, though. She's going to put peek in and exit back out onto the track.
Josh Collins pacing behind the pace car. And in front of the race leader tells us he will be the lucky dog, or the free pass car as we call it. We'll get to come all the way back around.
So you can see the front wheels on Josh Collins' 56. Let's look at the 23. Yeah, same with Brandon McFarland. A little bit of discoloration in the front wheels there that shows some brake dust. Looks like the 3 of Jason Hathaway might be coming into the pits, as will the 84 of Larry Jackson.
Yeah, Hathaway on pit road. Jackson as well. Hathaway be the first one to get to his pit stall. Larry right behind him there just a little bit.
More chassis adjustments for Larry Jackson's 84.
Yeah, not sure what the issue is with the Hathaway. Now they're going to make an adjustment on the left rear of that car as well.
Jackson off of pit road. Hathaway as well. They'll come out and line up behind the 23 of Brandon McFarland.
Gonna send the 56 around.
We get the field doubled up, get ready to go once more. Once again, break at 125.
Ish. We see a little bit of a variation over the last couple of years.
Explain it a bit, Adam, why it's not clearly on 125.
NASCAR doesn't want to affect the running order. So if we get to lap 125 and people are battling for position, they will hold off. If we've had a long green flag run and everyone is strung out, they might go a little earlier than the midway break. Last race, wow, Cameron gets all sort of sideways coming to the restart. Donald Teague gets bottled up. Thomas Naveau into the back of the 80 machine. The last race we had a yellow. Brian Cath.
Yeah, Cathcart got loose.
And into the 06 of Sarah Thorne.
Everybody able to carry on.
Kennington, the big winner of that one, got around the Teague machine, put himself back into position number 4. Lacroix still leads Marc-Antoine Cameron and Andrew Ranger. Then DJ Kennington, and the battle for 5th is LP Dumoulin, who just dirt tracked off of 4, fully sideways, hanging it out.
He had places to go. Works his way into the top 5, but our last race at Chaudière, we had a caution 15 laps before the midway break, so they extended that distance as we've got a battle for the lead. Cameron to the inside of Kevin Lacroix. They'll race door to door off of turn 2 down the back straightaway. Cameron nosing out ahead, but Kevin Lacroix not giving up the fight on the high side at the stripe. It's Cameron by a nose.
Teague and Dumoulin exchanging paint as well for that position number 5. Lots of action all over the track, boys.
Marc-Antoine Cameron was the fastest car here. He's the first one to get a handle on this place 2 seasons ago, and not surprising to see him back out front. He's been almost since that day here, Adam. He just kind of took over, right? That whole year he ran great, had a fantastic year last year, as we've documented lots. The only thing that kept him from winning was an even better, spectacular season by Trayton Labson, who broke all records last year.
You're absolutely right. But have a look at this now. The top 4 all within that same half straightaway. So where earlier on Kevin Lacroix was really driving away and Cameron was able to keep pace, now Andrew Ranger is staying within distance. And DJ Kennington not letting them get away either. Donald Teague has retaken that 5th spot from LP Dumoulin.
Lacroix not going away though, like a shadow all over the back bumper of that Paillet Chevrolet 96 of Marc-Antoine Cameron, the 2022 Tour champion and winner here, as Adam mentioned earlier. 2 years running, the winner here has gone on to be the champion. Now, if you subscribe to that theory, who wants it more, Lacroix or Ranger? Cameron's already had it.
I don't know if there's do-overs. That didn't come up when we were talking statistics.
You know, Lacroix is great sense of humor, great guy for the division and the support, but he's hungry.
Kevin Lacroix also knows he's not as young as he used to be. You know, no longer does he have that youthful energy. He's a veteran.
Well, what'll may confuse new viewers is, yes, first and third have the same livery on the car, the same sponsorship, but they're not teammates at all. The real teammate is the 74 and the 27 that work together out of the same shop. So second and third, not first and third, are teammates, which the optics of it are a bit strange, but they still managed to work it out. JC Paye just helping out a couple of different drivers from different groups.
You nailed it.
And was rewarded because, you know, both Paye cars were top 3 at the last event. Lacroix was second.
Thomas Neveu closing in on the back bumper of LP Dumoulin in the 47. They race down the front straightaway into turn number 1. So Neveu having a great race in that 24 machine. He's been in a couple of battles, but the car's staying clean.
We watched that battle here on this track a little bit as Dumoulin trying to hold off that Neveu 24 car.
Battle for fourth, Donald Teague in the 80 to the inside of DJ Kennington off of turn number 4. He's got a nose to the inside. He is not going to give that up. He'll edge around that 17 machine in 1 and 2, and he'll have track position through 3 and 4, but DJ putting up a strong fight on the high side.
DJ has held up a good battle on that outside lane a couple of times already this evening. As we see the sun starting to peak down a little bit, things will start to cool off around here. More horsepower for the cars, a little bit cooler track conditions for the tires, and a handling mess for these drivers as conditions change.
Next time by, it is lap 100. 100 laps into this one. Marc-Antoine Cameron leads the way over Kevin Lacroix in second. Andrew Ranger runs third in the 27. Then it's Donald Teague and DJ Kennington, followed by LP Dumoulin, the 47, the 24 of Thomas Neveu, the 23 of Brandon McFarlane, the 3 of Jason Hathaway, the 84 Larry Jackson, 56 Josh Collins, and that's all the cars on the lead lap. Sarah Thorne is 3 laps down in 12th, but she is in position for free passes should we get a yellow before anyone else is lapped. Whew, that was a mouthful.
Still looking at the battle here. Teague trying to hold off the DJ Kennington Castrol Edge Dodge. We are closing, well, just past the 150 mark, 148 to go. The leaders have all strung it out once more.
Cameron leading the way, taking the shortest distance around the track. He goes into the corner and hugs that yellow line all the way around. Donald Teague, after getting around DJ Kennington, is really not pulled away from that Castrol Edge 17. And as the laps wind down, remember we talked about later in this run, how are these cars going to level off? If you remember, the first 50 laps, or as Mike would say, the first 1/5 of this race, the leaders really closed in on the back of the field and put cars a lap down. Now that we're nearing the midway point, we're not seeing that much difference between the front of the field and the back of the field.
Cameron continues to lead. Kevin Lacroix, Andrew Ranger, Donald Teague, and DJ Kennington. Taking a look at the battle here for 4th and 5th. Kennington still trying to get it back from the 80 of Donald Teague, and you can get a look at the margin that they are racing around. Nobody in front or behind them at this point that would give them any type of grief or jump into the fray.
Last time at the line, Andrew Ranger and Marc-Antoine Cameron ran nearly identical lap times as Josh Collins gets down out of the way of the race leaders. I wasn't sure if he was coming to pit road. He really got out of the way there. But he'll come back up to speed on the front stretch, and now Josh Collins will be in that free pass position.
Closing in on 1:40 to go, about 15 laps prior to the halfway break here, where the teams will get together and go to work on their machines and make the final adjustments that they will need. If you make that adjustment and you have to come back in, you're not winning the race. So this is your final shot to get it together and make the car the way you need it to be.
As we look up and down pit road, some of the teams starting to get ready. They're not watching the race now as much as they are making sure they have what they need for this midway break, for the change that's going to happen.
You know, one car in particular I think is, you know, really screaming for this halfway mark. Is that 56. I don't think he's been happy with that car since lap number 1. But boys, I'm just checking out the weather for the first time I've seen in a long time. It's showing very warm conditions here, 22 degrees into about 10 o'clock tonight. So we got a warm evening, so we're not going to see that big temperature drop that we're used to. So it's going to be quite nice here.
You're welcome. We brought it with us from Ontario. It was darn near 40 degrees Celsius in Ontario yesterday. It was crazy where we were.
22 degrees must be like air conditioning.
No,
we're melting here.
It's still pretty hot.
Yeah.
Speaking of melting, Adam, the temperature's got to be up in these cars today. You know, you're praying your cool suit's working and your drink is still cold. 10 to go before the half break.
You know, but really, you're absolutely right, Clinton, but it's not like it's a blistering hot midday. We've seen hotter days for sure, and it always depends on how good your car is. Glenn Stiers is a great example. He's 30 laps down. It's probably wicked hot in that race car. Marc-Antoine Camerand out in front, it may be the same temperature as Glenn's car, but he's leading the race, so he feels great.
That's a good way to put it. When you're working well, it takes a lot of stuff to get you upset.
Ranger having some issues trying to get around some lap traffic.
Well, Sarah Thorne came up and around the Brian Cathcart 98, so Ranger had to wait for her to make that move.
Ooh. Sarah came out in front.
Yeah, in turns 1 and 2, the Thorne 06, she's having a little bit more problem keeping the car down the racetrack, and now Ranger looking to go to the inside. That's not going to work, so we'll go to the outside.
Ranger will get that pass completed. We're about 5 laps from the halfway point as the leaders work their way off turn 4. At this point in time, still Marc-Antoine Camerand over Kevin Lacroix, Andrew Ranger, Donald Teague, and DJ Kennington. Your unofficial top 5 here with 1:30 to go, 5 before the break.
We're actually seeing bad go to worse for Josh Collins in that 56. He spent so much of this race with the front end pushing on that car. Now that he's really worn out the right front, it's starting to whip around, so you get a tight loose condition. You finally get the car turned and it doesn't want to, and then it over rotates so the back end comes around. So Josh Collins, he's swimming uphill right now.
Take a look at his teammate Brandon McFarland as he battles with Jason Hathaway's number 3. Great run for McFarland here. Position number 8 right now. We heard them talk about how top 10 would be a good day. Top 5 would be an amazing day.
This is an important battle right here. Race leader Marc-Antoine Camerand up on the back end of Larry Jackson. We're almost at the halfway mark. Larry Jackson goes a lap down. He will get the free pass. If Larry Jackson stays on the lead lap, that free pass would go to Josh Collins.
Camerand looking to the inside. There's not much he can do. Jackson will back out and let the 2 leaders by. And bad news for Sarah Thorne, as you mentioned. She's no longer the free pass car.
No, she is not. The Freshstone Brands midway race leader is Marc-Antoine Camerand in the 96. And we will go yellow, full course yellow.
See who makes the big adjustments now on pit road.
Now
okay. I'm sorry, so they're just announcing the 84 of Larry Jackson was trapped a lap down. Because we go back to the last completed lap, Larry Jackson was ahead of the leader. So he's getting back on the lead lap. What this means is Josh Collins becomes the free pass. He will get back on the lead lap, and they're going to do it right now before 1 to go. So they're going to come into the pits for their tires and their fuel, and Josh Collins will restart this race on the lead lap with all the adjustments he could want.
How lucky can you ask for, fighting that car all race long for the last 125 laps, be able to make that adjustment. I'm sure his crew is super stoked out as they're going to receive him now as he passes the pace truck. Little Ricky Bobby.
Collins will make his way back around to the tail end of the field. Once they got everybody in the proper lineup, then they'll bring him down.
And it was a tough first half for Josh Collins, but this is a new race. We haven't given out any points. We haven't paid out any money, except for midway point leader gets a $500 bonus from Fresh Stone. But all the glory, all the money, all the points come at the end of the race, and Josh Collins is on the same playing field as anybody ahead of him. For those watching the stream, we're going to take a quick break here. When we come back, we're going to watch the teams go to work at Eastbound Park.
We're taking.
Welcome back to Eastbound Park. The midway break has begun. These teams will all fuel these race cars, and then they will put tires on. 4 tires is the order of the day. However much race fuel they think they need.
Ram a wedge in there.
Into what?
I know, it's just a funny story. We had the release of the 56 and 23, and we were talking to the Chevrolet owner, and his wife was telling us about his video game experiences and yelling out, "Put a wedge in it." So I thought that was pretty cool. That the wife knew what a wedge was.
That's fabulous. I like that there's people dancing in the grandstands, whether you're in the front row or the back row. You should always feel free to get up and dance.
A little bit of a development on that back stretch now. We got a few campers out there this year.
Yeah, so what is
some
the
tailgaters up there?
Yeah, what's the deal with up the hill? Like, are they?
I believe they're tailgating.
Someone go check their tickets.
Yeah.
So we're having a look there at Brandon McFarland's 23, and that car is
All the way up.
pristine.
Doesn't seem like a lot of activity on the 56, though.
Well, because they're being serviced by the same crew, I imagine we'll see McFarland's work get done, then they'll switch over to Josh Collins.
Hopefully they don't run out of time.
So now the jack goes around. You can't jack both sides of that car up at the same time, boys. Don't do that. The left side of the 56 up in the air. Don't jack the right side up. It becomes a teeter-totter. 1 minute left in this break. That or Mike Charest is about to go Jimmy Superfly Snook off the flag stand. Am I the only one that thought that?
Now that you say it, the big elbows coming out here.
Right?
Off the top
on
rope.
the hood.
I would love that.
Superfly.
His career was never the same after that.
No.
Off the top of the cage, you can't do that, Jimmy.
I think I got his music in the laptop here.
I'll tell you.
We have Stone Cold.
Let me tell you, I love wrestling.
Wrestling.
I've met a lot of
Wrestling.
race car drivers, but I love wrestling. I met Jimmy Superfly Snuka one time. Mr. Snuka, I'm a huge fan. Said I was in Toronto Maple Leaf Gardens and I saw you wrestle one day. And he looks me square in the eye. He says, "No, I saw you."
You know who just saw you? Superfly Sheree. Just give you the evil eye from back there.
That's it. That's it. Everybody
She's
plays
listening.
along.
I think she's listening.
You're allowed to have fun too up there, Mike. Good job. Our starter, Mike Sheree, following the tour around this year and in the last couple.
But to close out my story, that was the day I learned that wrestling is very real and they take a lot of shots to the noggin.
Oh, big time.
Oh, you're a big dude. Maybe he did see you out there with your sign. Jimmy.
I was 9.
You were still 6'2".
So we got a couple of cars on the move already. They're pushing back to 56, so I guess they're happy with the adjustments.
Yeah, they call you in order, and if you're not ready to go, by the time that they call you, you're in big trouble.
So sometimes, like at our 150 on the halfway mark, are you allowed to make adjustments or just fuel and tires?
Well, it's interesting you should ask that because we have had teams in the past change springs in that time period. There's a lot of things you can do. They've gotten more specific on the rules on what you can do and what you can't do. And I'd be lying if I knew everything they were allowed to do.
It didn't seem that there was a lot of adjustments on that 56.
It didn't seem?
No.
You know, it could be a matter, and no disrespect to Josh Collins because he won a race here earlier today. It could be a matter of the spotter and the crew chief saying, look, we need you to drive that car easier for the first 50 laps of this run.
Yeah.
We need you to really back up the corner.
And that's what we've seen last year. You know, he really came alive once we got to that 200 mark.
Yep.
But he took on some damage on that back row. He got collected on those jerseys back there and really tore up the right side. So he still has a pretty clean car here. A lot of clean cars. Not a lot of damages taken on in the first half.
Adam, let's talk about that. You know, big race weekend out east. A lot of the teams, it's a 2-week project for them to come out here to Newfoundland, Labrador, and then go to Nova Scotia next week. You know, we've seen instances where they're just trying to keep it clean. How is that playing into their mentality today? Is today a race that nobody cares about? There's got to be at least a couple of these drivers out there with their head on thinking, hey, I do not want to have a rough week here.
Well, there's probably a couple drivers with their heads elsewhere too, Clinton. But they'll have meetings before the race and you'll set the tone, right? Hey, think big picture. Let's do this, let's do that. They have been out there for 125 laps of being irritated with each other in some cases. So it's sometimes hard to remember the tone you set at the meeting that was held in your office in the trailer with air conditioning and what's going on in the car right now when it's 120 degrees Fahrenheit.
How was your production meeting that we missed?
It was great.
Did they serve any food?
Well, I'm going to tell you there was food because Fitz. I mean, NASCAR Canada has really stepped up their nutritional program. They got a smoker down there. They got a barbecue. Fitz, the hauler driver / joke teller / chef extraordinaire. That's good living.
So there wasn't really a production meeting. It was lunch at the NASCAR
Lunch.
hauler, and Adam, that was code for sandwich.
And we all watched the social media specialist, Samantha. She had earbuds in working on TikTok videos. Nobody could see what she was doing, but she was making herself laugh uncontrollably. So
Yeah,
go on the socials and check them out because they were funny to her.
We might end up on Jimmy Fallon again.
Right?
Here we go.
130 laps complete in the Proline Stadium 250. We are back under green.
Whoa, 3 wide and they're going to connect. Wow. And they're going to keep it going here. Unbelievable, boys.
That will not make DJ Kennington very happy in that 17. He got shuffled up on the high side, loses a couple of spots.
Leaders are going at it too. I see smoke out of the back of Lacroix. Now he's pushing the leader up the hill, and here comes Ranger to the inside. Lacroix's mad at him. I'm telling you that. If you didn't.
Oh, contact! He's around.
I told
Cameron goes around.
I told you he was mad.
Wow.
Now they're really mad.
The gloves are off.
Oh, yeah.
On the second half here.
Hey, remember those meetings they had in the air conditioned
I don't know
trailer?
what you're talking
I think
about.
you're way off.
So
Boy.
DJ Kennington is up alongside Thomas Nava to say, hey, young man,
You're number 1.
that's not how we roll.
Well, they definitely turned up the entertainment value here this afternoon in the second half. Both corners, turn 1 and 4.
That was wild.
All under one.
I don't know. Does the truck have any replays of that? Yeah, he does. He does. So watch what Cameron does after he gets spun out. My dad taught me, rest his soul, it is okay to spin out. Don't go by yourself. Cameron goes around and watch what he does to make sure he does not spin alone. He knows where Kevin Lacroix is that whole time, and then he makes darn sure the rest of the field's got to slow down for him. That doesn't happen by accident.
We'll see what kind of damage we see on the top 2 former leaders.
And it looks like, is the 06 getting a free pass?
Yes, she is.
Excellent.
Sarah Thorne will be pushed back around. Or directed back around, we should say. Her car's running great.
Sarah Thorne runs in the 12th spot. 3 laps down to the race leaders. Maybe 4. But cautions breed cautions. And what a difference. You know, we watched that first half. We're kind of ho-hum. Okay, we see what they're doing. This changes everything.
Yeah.
We've got 2 prize fighters that just got – it'd be like forcing them to have their hands in their pockets and letting someone else punch them a couple of times. Okay, now you can start to fight. Watch these 2 come from the back.
I don't think DJ was too happy on that restart.
No, he was not.
You know,
A lot of marks on
where's Cameron going?
So, as a rule, in traditional short track
Where you
racing,
blend back in?
if you're part of the yellow, you go to the back. In short track racing, where yellow laps count, where every lap counts, you get your spot back where you blend in. And the 96 did blend in a fair bit ahead of the 74 of Kevin Lacroix.
You know, I got to wonder, we know what Rangers' plan is because he won at Quebec, the last event, by doing it, by holding on, by being calm, being cautious. We're getting another look at the incident here on the stream. Oh, he did whip that around.
That knock to the left front of Kevin Lacroix would concern me a little bit.
Here comes Sarah Thorne around.
But we will see. We'll see how the 74 performs after this restart. But that's fierce competitors, right? When you've got multiple drivers that want to be out there pacing the field. Look at the front. Andrew Ranger in the 27, Donald Teague in the 80. LP Dumoulin, the hungriest driver in the field. LP Dumoulin, driver of that WeatherTech 47.
Yeah, definitely the story has changed here on this restart.
Wow, what a great jump by Andrew Ranger. And he almost comes up across the nose of Teague there, gets back in line. LP Dumoulin looking for a run on the inside. Here comes Lacroix up underneath 2 of them on the backside. Stiers gets into the 56, who gets Thorne, and they will go around into the wall. Oh my goodness.
What a bummer for Sarah Thorne. She had nowhere to go there.
There was a little debris came off in turn 1. There was some contact up there, and we got 2 locals taking on a lot of damage.
Yeah,
here.
that was a tough break there. The left front fender.
So Collins was slow exiting turn 2. He got off the pace and he got right up by the wall. Glenn Stiers went by him, and Stiers kind of ran up the track a little bit, squeezed Josh Collins just slightly, and it was enough to put Collins up on the wall and spinning across the track.
I don't know if that's a body panel or some piece of debris up there in turn 1 that came off. I don't know if it was Collins, but that was kind of where it all started.
I'm worried about the 56 here of Collins. That left side geometry on the front, Adam, almost looks like a control arm could be out of whack. The wheel doesn't look like it's spinning properly, but it could just be the fender out of alignment there. But I don't know. I got to feel something's a little out of skew there with that left front.
Giving me vertigo. Let's have another look. Look at the back of the field. Josh Collins, the 56. He can feel something's wrong. We'll slow this down. Stiers trying to go by and trying to avoid the 74. Stiers makes significant contact in that 0 machine. So he had a lot of steering to do. And I think we're going to have another look at this. No, we're not. I thought we might have had a speed shot, but I think we
Yeah, it was
do
like the
not.
74 pinched the Steiners to the top, and just Collins getting a piece of it. And then Sarah Thorne, unfortunately, got wrapped up in that mess on the backstretch. I've had a couple doozies on that backstretch in that exact same position coming out of turn 2. Big upset for the 06 team.
And you can see in the background, that's Sarah Thorne's late model sportsman car. That's Josh Collins' 56, which he won the race with earlier on. There's Sarah Thorne's 06, where she finished 3rd earlier on.
Ouch.
Yeah, that's going to leave a mark.
They got a long journey next week, you know, double header and Antigonish, all 3 locals heading that way, so big field.
They'll have a little bit of work to do, that's for sure. You can see some of DJ Kennington's crew. DJ prepared that 06 for Sarah Thorne for this weekend. They'll have some work to do.
They're over there figuring out what they're going to have to do this week.
I know I see Sarah Thorne's dad down there in the Bay by Bay paving driver's suit, getting ready to receive, just pacing back and forth, you know. My daughters want to race. I don't know how I feel about that.
You know.
And you know what? There's a funny story, actually. I've been told that Ross was racing dirt track here 20 years ago, and Trudy, the wife, water broke, and Sarah was actually born while Ross was still in the car.
Is that right?
Supposedly it's a true story. Back in the day when this was a dirt track here in Avondale at the Avondale Raceway, Trudy went into labor right here at the track. So racing's in our blood.
Clearly. They're going to put a fresh left front sneaker, and you can see a big chunk out of the wheel of that number 56.
Fans can't
Of
really
Josh
see
Collins. They're going to try to tape up the fender. The game here is to try to stay as close to the lead lap as you can.
So I was wrong. Obviously, geometry all right in there. It was just an optical illusion with the fender all tore up by the look of it. Or we're not quite sure yet. We'll see when we get him out there.
She looked a little wobbly coming out pit road.
We see the Thorn 06 on the back of the R&D towing machine, getting ready to bring that car back to the pit area.
And Collins now, once again, 1 lap down to the race lead. And that is not insurmountable. The other good news for Josh Collins is these cars have 0 aerodynamic properties. You can knock these cars to pieces, and as long as the 4 tires are still pointed in the same direction, it will perform.
Little Mad Max racing.
Well, I'll tell you, we've seen in the past a car that got into a mix-up and knocked the front end off it, so the whole front bumper was gone, and he drove back to a top 3 finish because his brakes were able to stay so cool because there was so much air coming to them, and the tires didn't get as hot as they would if they were wrapped up under fenders, that it was a performance advantage.
That was at Sunset, right?
That was at Sunset. I can't believe what you just did, Mike. I'm going to blame you. I'm not going to blame Scotty because Scotty's a good fella for bringing you a piece of cake.
You talk about hospitality. They even made a cake with NASCAR Canada on it here.
I see that, and you're about to eat a piece of it, aren't you?
No.
You were in a room of at least 3 voluptuous men and a couple of men that could afford to eat a few cheeseburgers, and you're going to eat cake by yourself.
Well, now you make me feel bad.
I hope I did.
All right.
Do you have cake for the whole class, Michael?
I don't know. Scotty, get him some cake.
No, we're teasing.
Collins is back into the pits. The hood is up on that, so obviously he got back out on the racetrack, and something still didn't feel right. That was significant contact to the left front as we have Sarah Thorne's 06 machine being towed back. Clint?
I stand corrected. It was a problem with the geometry on the left front of that car.
You thought you were wrong, but you were mistaken.
It's funny how that works.
See what I did there? See
Two
what
double
you did?
negatives make a truth, right?
Something like that.
Very slowly, we see the Sarah Thorne 06 being brought back, and That is not a good day for her after what started out so promising. These are not easy cars to drive by any means, right, Adam? We hear that from everybody who jumps in this deal. It is a big learning curve and certainly not an easy piece to get a handle on.
On that one, I don't think she was.
Yeah, it wasn't her fault.
It
She's
is
a product
so
of
hard.
somebody else's situation there.
These corners are
Yeah.
somewhat blind anyhow. Like, you exit these corners, you don't have a huge amount of visibility, and you do not expect a car to be coming from your right to the left, sideways, straight across the track. Like, it's not what's in your psyche that you're about to drive up on.
How frustrated are Marc-Antoine Cameron, Kevin Lacroix? You know, things just start to get wild, then they calm down. Have they calmed down and have they got their tempers in check, or are we looking to throw the gloves off one more time?
Well, I think they are going to want to get back to the front of the field and then cash in their chip. Right? Marc-Antoine Cameron has a free pass. A free pass to knock the tar out of that 74 if the opportunity arises to win a race. Does he want to do that racing for 7th? Not really. Does he want to do it for a win? Absolutely.
I'm sure he has a free pass in his head, but I don't think Lacroix feels he's owed that free pass.
No, well, that's the fun part of this game. You're right. They both have that same free chip.
Who will cash in first?
So in Quebec at Chaudière, was there much activity between the two?
Where was that, sorry?
At the last race, was there much activity?
No, they
between
were
the
battling
74?
for the win, and Ranger came along with a better car and passed both of them. They both finished on the podium. You've got to remember, within Quebec, there is huge bragging rights. The social media wars that go on in Quebec are phenomenal. If you get bored and you have Google Translate, go on the socials and watch what these drivers and their fans do. And the fun part about Cameron and Lacroix especially is they participate. 149 laps complete when Andrew Ranger comes back to the green.
Lights are off.
Look how close they are, positioning each other for position as they roll down into 3. You could barely put a card between the two of the leaders.
The other thing to remember is the 24 and the 17. Remember, DJ Kennington is not happy with the 24 of Thomas Neveu.
And he may get to knock on that back door here shortly as they come together on the Speedway. Very close. Hathaway up on the outside. Off of 3 they come, and it will be Andrew Ranger with the lead. Dumoulin and Teague battling for 2nd and 3rd.
Look at that, Cameron to the inside of Jason Hathaway. Kevin Lacroix right behind him, just ahead. DJ Kennington battling with the 24 of Thomas Neveu.
Oh, cool. Lacroix just poured the coals all over the back end of the Paille 96 of Cameron, and he is going for it.
All these drivers ahead, they think they have good cars as well. They're in this battle. DJ Kennington might even look to the outside of the 24 of Neveu. Neveu gets sideways in turn number 4, keeps his foot on the throttle. Thomas Neveu doing a great job out there running in the 4th spot.
I'm watching Lacroix. He just puts that nose on the back bumper of Cameron and pushes him through 3 and 4 every lap if he can.
Now, DJ Kennington is doing some old school stock car racing. He pinched Cameron down on the exit of turn number 4. Cameron still got the position, but DJ Kennington's losing quite a bit up on the high side.
Kevin Lacroix next on the inside of the Castrol Dodge 17. He will get the position here and roll onto the back straightaway up front. Andrew Ranger with the big lead. Same margin, back to 3rd at holding. It's being held by Donald Teague right now. Then a good battle as LP Dumoulin and Thomas Neveu rock it with each other, and then the 2 contenders going at it. A little bit of space between them now.
I don't think we've seen the end of the fireworks as Neveu to the inside of LP Dumoulin. They battled side by side, but not for long. Put the home hardware number 24 to 3rd.
Dumoulin shuffled back into 4th position. 5th is that battle with Cameron and Lacroix. 5th and 6th on the Speedway. Lacroix once again on the back bumper cover here of the Paille Chevrolet. That Napa machine rolls through the center very well.
piece of debris just came off one of those cars, landed just under the flag stand, but the flag stand is across the drag strip, so that is not on the racing surface, so won't cause any problems.
Rangers crew, Adam, are they telling him to back it down a little bit? Oh, problems for Thomas Neville in the back straightaway. 24 was running position number 3, comes up lame, and will roll it down into turn number 3. The Dave Jacobs crew with Donnie Thompson Jr. on the box. Going to have to go to work on this one. What could that be all about?
I just looked down. The last lap, Thomas Neville was faster than the race leader. What heartbreak for this young man as he rolls down to the pit crew.
Crew in on the car now. They're jumping in both windows and the hood will come up.
I think he broke a shifter.
Well, yeah, on a restart you could break a shifter, because I was talking to Howie Scannell and Larry Jackson about shifting here. So we shift on the restarts once. So he was already in speed though, so that you'd think that'd be something he could limp around.
And the crew is given the shut it off signal down there, so Thomas Neville's day is going to end about 90 laps sooner than he would have liked.
Tough break, as you mentioned, the car was just starting to turn the fastest laps of the entire field. But to no avail.
We return our attention to the front of the field where Andrew Ranger is turning 16.2 second laps. Kevin Lacroix is 16.1, so Lacroix is a little faster than the race leader, but he's got a long way to go still.
Ranger teams with a big lead up front. Now the yellow is out, and we're not sure what for. You hearing anything on your magical radio?
Just put it out.
Thomas
So-
DeVille out of the 24 car.
We have a medical situation on the infield.
Okay.
And with the ambulance on the outside of the racetrack, they have to go yellow. So we will tend to that situation on the infield. First and foremost, and always, it's safety first. So for those watching on the stream, let's take a quick break, and when we come back, it'll be the conclusion of the Proline Stadium 250.
Park, Avondale, Newfoundland here as we bring you the Proline Stadium 250 brought to you by Atlantic Chevrolet Dealers.
Back to green we go, this time at a turn number 4. DJ Kennington ducked into the pits for some quick service. 169 laps complete when they cross the stripe. Andrew Ranger, the race leader, in the GM Paille number 27.
Pace truck off, and away we go. Ranger with another good jump here out front of the Teach machine. He will tuck it right in on the back bumper. The 27 did not want to get hung up on the outside. Here comes Lacroix around the outside with a good move on the Dumoulin 47.
Off of turn number 4, it's Ranger, Teej, Lacroix, single file, 1, 2, 3. Then it's LP Dumoulin with the 3 of Hathaway battling side by side for 4th.
Cameron's got to be frustrated, 4 spots behind Lacroix, who he was battling with earlier. 79 to go as they cross the stripe for Andrew Ranger.
I don't know that I have ever heard this before. The 24 of Thomas Neveu is out of the race with a broken gas pedal.
Wow. Well, we know it's not the shifter, because you only have to shift once a restart, but you need that gas pedal the whole way around.
You really, that's a fabulous observation.
Sometimes I get some cakes.
2 drivers, Andrew Ranger and Donald Teej, just turned their fastest laps of the race. Teej went a little bit quicker this time with a 16.027.
Lacroix, look at the gap he's put between himself and LP Dumoulin. He has shown he is ready to fight for the win here today. Cameron still hung up behind that 47 WeatherTech Dodge of LP Dumoulin. He looks to the inside off of turn number 2. Top 3 have pulled away. They're already coming off of 4 as 4th and 5th entering the turn number 3.
If you're Andrew Ranger, one of the things he has always been good at is conserving his car, conserving brakes, conserving tires. He knows the 74 of Kevin Lacroix had to come from the back. So did the 96 of Cameron. He knows those are the 2 fastest cars here. So how much has he been saving of his race car for when Kevin Lacroix does arrive? And has Kevin Lacroix used up the good in those fresh General tires working through the field?
Well, Ranger's setting his own pace. He can find his own line, go where he's most comfortable and where the car wants to go. Where some of these other guys trying to battle have to kind of put it where it may not need to be. It's for tire consumption, but still keeping it together. Still Ranger, Teej, Lacroix. Behind them, Dumoulin and Cameron. Cameron desperately trying to get around that WeatherTech Dodge. Good run going for Jason Hathaway inside the top 6, holding the spot there.
Brandon McFarland in that 23 machine, he just was overtaken by Glenn Stiers. That was not for position. DJ Kennington got through as well, but the McFarland 23, it looks like the handling could be going away a little bit on that race car. He's got Larry Jackson hot on his heels right now.
Currently in 8th is that 23 of McFarland. Leaders keep putting them up, 70 to go now. And they will go fairly quickly here. Without incident, they will click off very fast.
Cameron still working the back end of the 47 LP Dumoulin. Look at where he puts that 96 car. Oh, wow, that got tight going down into turn 1. Right down on the bottom of the racetrack by the Jersey barriers on the inside, but Cameron with track position drives it deep into turn number 3. He will clear the 47 of Dumoulin and give Marc-Antoine Cameron that 4th spot.
Yeah, you got to feel that the spotter for the 47 was letting him know the 96 was quicker. Don't mess around, let him go. Maybe we live to come back at it later with 67 still to go. Top 3 have really streaked away from everybody here in this one.
Ranger has gapped Donald Teej. He's turning 16 point. He's half a tenth of a second faster than Teej, and he's still a bit quicker than Kevin Lacroix in the 74.
Teej having a solid run here. We talked about how aggressive he can be. He's done a great job of being patient this afternoon here. Ranger with the emotional win at Chaudier, he's going to be really happy with the way they've been able to manage this race. Regardless of how it turns out, they've done everything they needed to do to be in the right spot after another guy who just had terrible luck last year.
Kevin Lacroix makes that move on Donald Teej. Put Lacroix in the 74 up to the 2nd spot. We will see if he can close in on race leader Andrew Ranger. The gap right now is 1.5 seconds. There is 62 laps to go this time at the stripe.
Now, can Lacroix reel in Andrew Ranger? He's already made some gap on the 80, but Ranger's a long way out there. So it's that fine mix and the fine line of trying to catch him, but still keep your stuff. Ranger's got the same thing, trying to stay out front, cruise, save what he can, but you do not want to give up any gap, especially back to an aggressive pilot like Kevin Lacroix.
Andrew Ranger was a hair faster the last time they went by. This time, Kevin Lacroix a hair faster. They're still running laps within a 1/10 of a second of each other, so there's not a lot of ground to be made up or lost. Both cars working very well.
60 to go. As we talked about the sun going down, it's starting to, I wouldn't say cloud over, but kind of drop behind the Castle Grandstand here at Eastbound Park. You don't see a lot of sun on the track surface itself, so climate is definitely changing outside.
Brian Cathcart in the 98 being given the move over flag that the race leader Ranger is closing. Ranger catches him in a great spot. The exit of turn number 2 sweeps around him into 3 and 4.
Ranger's just been picture perfect here for the last 50 or so. 57 to go, 56 when he comes back, putting on about 4 laps a minute. Just a little under 4 laps a minute.
And with a few more cars out of this race, that's a little bit less traffic for these drivers to contend with. That's a little more or a little less opportunity for cautions. As I see DJ Kennington in 1 and 2 drove that Casserole Edge Dodge way up the racetrack. 3 and 4, he's back down to the racing groove. Let's see if he does it again this time through 1 and 2. Yeah, he's well off the bottom of the track. Things might be getting a little slippery out there for these drivers, especially down in the racing groove.
DJ Kennington, we keep an eye on him. He's running position 7 right now, just in front of the McFarland 23. Hathaway rides in front of them. A good margin out front, a full straightaway up in front in position number 6. A big margin up in front of him to LP Dumoulin. Cameron not making any ground on Tej, Adam. I think it's going to take a yellow for the 96 to get back into this one.
Yeah, I don't know that Cameron's car is 100% up to song out there. After that spin in turn number 3. Kevin Lacroix still turning laps about 1/10 of a second faster than Andrew Ranger. And this is where Andrew Ranger's such a veteran. He'll be watching that mirror. He'll be listening to his spotter, Joe Chisholm Jr., talk about how Lacroix's running. And Andrew will do anything to make Kevin Lacroix use up too much of his race car.
Ranger, Lacroix are the top 2 right now, 49 to go. And Teach has fallen a long way back. So the real battle here is as Ranger gets into lap traffic, can Lacroix pounce on the back door of the Paille Chevrolet 27 for Ranger?
Now it's going to be a matter of how they encounter this slower traffic and what they do with it. Larry Jackson running in the 9th spot in that 84. He's on the lead lap. The gentleman that he is, he drops down to the bottom, allows the race leader to go around on the high side.
Lifts just that little bit extra into 3 so the leader can get the line he needs. And Lacroix, we look at the gap, Adam, it is
1.27 seconds.
So we'll watch that number and see if it dwindles here in the closing laps, closing in on 45 to go.
The fact that Ranger just went faster that lap when he went around the outside of Larry Jackson tells me that he might have a little bit more speed in that car than he is showing. As Kevin Lacroix closes in on the 84 of Jackson, he's not having an easy time getting around that 84 machine.
Now he'll clear him into turn number 3, and Rangers got cars too wide in front of him, lapped cars, and he's got to Frogger his way through them cars. He'll get under the McFarland 23.
Thread the needle a little bit there. Remember, McFarland's running in the 8th spot. He was on the lead lap, so now he'll be the first car 1 lap down. And DJ Kennington, who was having a great run, likely not thrilled to be back in the 7th spot in that 17 machine. And at risk of being overtaken by the race leader, Andrew Ranger, and put a lap down. We've got a battle on the track for the 3rd spot. Cameron to the inside of Donald Teej.
We watch how this one goes. Cameron right on the bottom. Teej almost opened up the door like he was told he was faster, because did not contest that at all. And lets Donald Teej roll out of the way, and Cameron will take position number 3 with 40 to go.
Ranger got around the 17 of DJ Kennington, so now 2 lap cars between himself and Kevin Lacroix in second. Lacroix gets to the inside of McFarland, makes that move. Now just 1 car between Kevin Lacroix and race leader Andrew Ranger.
Well, it was 1.27, now it's 1.67, so Ranger is extending his lead out a little bit.
Best battle on the track right now is this race for 3rd. Marc-Antoine Cameron with the position. It almost looked like Donald Teej moved over and allowed Cameron to drive by, but now that Teej is back to 4th, he's all over the back end of the 96 of Cameron, and the 47 of LP Dumoulin is right there as well.
Watching the battle between Cameron and Teej. Teej not able to come back at him at all and make any type of ground. Lacroix will now deal with the Kennington 17. And Rangers just on cruise control up front. Looking very slick and smooth right now, 35.
Teej right up on the back end of Cameron in the 96. They race down the back straightaway. Interesting story about that 80 machine. They are racing for an owner's championship, even though Donald Teej is only racing the ovals. He's got Alex Tagliani as a hired gun to race the road courses for him.
Great still to have tags part of the deal here. And what a potent team that could turn out to be. Teej having some good runs here on the ovals, and we know what Tagliani can do on the road courses.
So just heard word over the officials' radio, there is a report of debris on the backstretch.
Still no yellow, and Mike Charret has it in hand, and I think it's going to come out here.
They can't automatically go to yellow based on a report. They will look for some sort of confirmation, however.
Still yellow stays wrapped up in the hands of Mike Charret as he shows the passing flag to Glenn Stiers as Ranger gets by.
Because we don't know if that report of debris came from the 74 crew chief.
Good, that's a good way to put it also. Needs to be substantiated by somebody other than the team that's chasing the leader. And if you're Lacroix, every time you go by that spot, it's still there, right? Hoping that somebody's scanning and listening.
LP Dumoulin loses some ground in that 47 to the 2-car battle for 3rd ahead of him. Donald Teej still right on the back bumper of Marc-Antoine Cameron. Laps continue to wind down. We're into the final 30 laps. This is a Saturday night special here at Eastbound Park.
Man, a yellow would certainly change things up here. And you got to think Kevin Lacroix is holding on to that hope and holding on to some tires in case. Because, you know, he probably realized he can't reel the 27 in from here. So let's hold on to second and get ready for potentially a shot at this run.
No, and that's how you have to look at it. Anything can happen in these races. You have to decide if in 26 laps, can I catch Andrew Ranger and pass him? Maybe not. If I can't, just settle in here, save as much as I can, and hope for a yellow.
Ranger's just been the class of the field here in the second half of this race. Has gapped everybody who's made a challenge and continues to pull away on Kevin Lacroix.
Donald Teague all over the back bumper of Marc-Antoine Cameron. They work up the back end of Brandon McFarland. Cameron going to look to the inside. If he has to lift even a little bit, Donald Teague, the cagey veteran behind the wheel of the 80. McFarland does the polite thing, gets up out of the groove.
Got LP Dumoulin right there on the back bumper of Donald Teague as well.
And they go back to being that three-car battle for the third spot. That's third, fourth, and fifth right there in a row coming off of turn number 4.
Ranger smooth and steady off of turn number 4. 22 to go for driver the number 27. Lacroix still holds on to second. Cameron now got third. Teague in fourth. Fifth is LP Dumoulin.
And that is the best battle on the racetrack, third, fourth, and fifth. Andrew Ranger sort of in his own time zone out there. Nobody within half a straightaway ahead of him or behind him. Kevin Lacroix is behind. He's over 2 seconds back of our race leader.
So he has just been fading back a little bit farther, or possibly knowing nobody's putting any heat on him for half a lap. So maybe you continue to back it up and really try and save what you have in the hopes of a bit of NASCAR overtime.
That could be exactly what he's doing. As Marc-Antoine Cameron having to work through some of the slower traffic with precision to keep Donald Teague at bay in that 80 machine, down under 20 laps remaining, just 17 laps to go.
No major battles happening at this point. Everybody just clicking off the laps here in the last section of this race. Ranger appears to have him covered, but boy, oh boy, things could easily change here in a heartbeat. And like we've seen it many, many times out here on the tour.
Yeah, you can't count your chickens before they hatch, so to speak. And we've learned that lesson time and time again. And Donald Teague can get so close to the back bumper of Marc-Antoine Cameron, but not quite close enough to rattle the young man's cage.
He's certainly trying, though. Every turn, he's pushing it right in there. But Cameron, he's just shown for the past 3 years, he's been so good in that car.
And very good at this racetrack as well. So yes. Marc-Antoine Cameron has a great level of focus in that 96. But focus is one thing, and it's easy to do when there's not somebody driving into the back of you. And I'm not saying Donald Teague wants to wreck Cameron, but he wants to rattle his cage.
Almost there to rattle it. And if you get him at the wrong point, you're going to turn him right into that inside wall on pit road. And we've seen that almost a couple times today. Thankfully, nobody has caught it.
Teague is right there. 10 laps to go next time for Andrew Ranger. Teague right up on the back bumper of Marc-Antoine Cameron at the 96. That's your battle for third.
They're closing in on DJ Kennington, who is on a lap less than they are. So that is not a battle for position between the 17 and the 96. Off of 4, Teague still there, and now Kennington may slow the progress a bit of Teague, but now he's the veteran, knows this isn't his lap. He will get up out of the way and let them duel for their positions in hopes of the same courtesy farther down the summer as we move around the country.
Man, what a great race for the third spot. Teague right there in the shadow of Marc-Antoine Cameron's 96. Down into 3 and 4, closes up on the back bumper, almost close enough to give him a nudge, but not quite.
Dumoulin right there also. And if Tej can get Cameron up out of the groove, you can bet the LP WeatherTech Dodge is going to try and stick it in there and fill that gap, but not quite close enough for either of them. Cameron still in control of position number 3.
Cameron really good through 1 and 2. I think Tej a little better in 3 and 4. This is as close as he's been. Down into 3 and 4 they go. Tej right on the back bumper of the 96.
You know, Cameron would not be happy if he was the cause of both yellows in the second half of this race. Both times while running first and third.
Well, right now you're thinking championship, and Donald Tej is thinking podium. This is money, and these are money racers. Tej is right there as laps wind down on the back bumper of Cameron, running in the absolute tire tracks of the 96.
4 to go for leader Andrew Rangers. We watch the battle for third, still on the charge. The 80 of Donald Tej trying to get that spot away from the 96 Paille Chevrolet of Marc-Antoine Cameron.
Tej is showing an enormous amount of racing class out here. There is nothing wrong with a bump on a short track, but he is really trying to make this pass clean on the 96 at Cameron.
I will give you that. He could have poured it in extra hard many laps ago and got a little bit more nudgy, if you will, on the back bumper of the 96. Trying to let him know I'm there, a little more each lap to push it in. How about it, Adam, though? Andrew Ranger has been the class of the field. White flag is out. The second half has been all Andrew Ranger.
Ranger down the back straightaway in the GM Paille number 27. The battle rages on for third. Tej to the inside, but the Proline Stadium 250 goes to Andrew Ranger in the 27. Kevin Lacroix in the 74 comes home second. Who's going to take home third? Tej piles it into 3 and 4. Right on the back bumper of Cameron. It's going to be Cameron, Tej, LP Dumoulin rounding out the top 5. 6th through 10th is Jason Hathaway in the 3, the 17 of DJ Kennington, the 23 of Brandon McFarland comes home 8th, with Larry Jackson 9th, Brian Cathcart rounding out the top 10. What a display in that second half. I wondered why Kevin Lacroix pulled his 74 machine into DJ Kennington's pit, but I believe that may be where they brought those cars for technical inspection. The driver from Roxton Pond, Quebec. Let me try that again. Roxton Pond, Quebec. I put a few too consonants in there, a few too many consonants. Andrew Ranger takes his second consecutive victory in the 27.
And what a difference, Adam, between the luck he had last year. Like, they just had everything possibly go wrong for them. So it's good to see him. I think, will we see an emotional Andrew Ranger for the second race in a row? It meant a lot to get that win in Quebec. How's he going to feel today after the performance he had? He's got to be proud of his team because they were the class to beat here today.
I think we're going to see all sorts of smiles. I don't know that we're going to see the tears that we saw last time in Quebec. Have we got some activity down in the tech area? Marc-Antoine Cameron, Kevin Lacroix, they're not thrilled with each other. A little bit of conversation going back and forth. They do have a car parked between them. The funny thing, not the funny thing, but I'll tell you about Kevin Lacroix. If he thinks he deserves that piece of real estate, that's his real estate. He's not mad at Marc-Antoine Cameron. That was the real estate he felt he deserved, and that's what he went for. And I shouldn't put words in his mouth, but just over time, we know that's the mentality of Kevin Lacroix. The other driver doesn't have to like it.
Well, the first time I seen him was 2016 at Kawartha Speedway, and there was a little bit of a racket. I don't know if you remember that.
We've seen it.
First time I met you.
He brings on a lot of excitement.
Marc-Antoine Cameron shaking hands with Donald Teach, and that was a good, classy, hard-fought battle. Teach giving I could have got you 35 times there in 34 laps, buddy, but a good run. We'll see if Cameron makes his way over to have any words with Kevin Lacroix on the way by, and the crew just ushering them right on past.
Andrew Ranger, is he staged up there in turn number 3 waiting so we can see if a fight breaks out in the pits?
We see him with the Sunoco Chevrolet. Checkered flag once again in the Pie Chevrolet, I should say. Andrew Ranger machine. What a great run for him. Back-to-back wins here on the NASCAR Canada Tour. Mike, James, what a race we had here today.
She was a beauty, and it was quite windy out there. I did take a peek outside, and track conditions didn't die down on the wind. So, but congratulations to Andrew Ranger. I know he had some heartaches in the past with a blown motor, and we spoke to him last week.
Hang on, we got a conversation going on.
Kevin Lacroix's crew.
And I can almost say
being pointed down there. Is that Marc-Antoine?
And that is Kevin Lacroix. That's not the crew, that's the drivers. And if I'm not mistaken, Kevin Lacroix said, look, wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. I drive to the inside.
Are they talking about coming out of the second half, maybe? Rangers pulling them back a bit.
No, that's one of the crew guys. So this might not be the time, but it might be.
It's good for social.
Definitely good.
Now, they're second and third, so they have to be together at the podium. By NASCAR rule, they have to be down there in victory lane.
Well, the codfish is coming out, and our presenter is going to be Abby McDonald from Proline.
Let's throw it down where Todd Lewis is standing by in victory lane.
Just waiting for Andrew Ranger to unbuckle, get the helmet off, get the Hans device off. He has already been receiving a lot of cheers from his team. And there's going to be a celebration tonight for the second victory of the season for this 27 bunch. Andrew Ranger is going to pull the Hans device off. He's got his GM Paille cap on. And after a super strong second half of this race, Andrew Ranger brings the 27 to victory lane for the second time this season, for the 33rd time in his career. The all-time leader in wins in the NASCAR Canada Series has just scored another one in dominating fashion. Congratulations from Etienne Clichy and the rest of his team. Handshakes and celebrations all around. This team is ready to celebrate. Andrew, you had a terrific second half of that race. You saw the charge forward in the first half, but I don't know what you did at the break, but it worked for this car.
It worked really good. You know, I need to thank all of my guys. They did an excellent job today. First 150, I was trying to see how my car goes, the setup and everything, and we make a little change for the last 150, and everything worked pretty good. So I need to thank all of my guys. You know, they work so hard. Weekend after weekend, and there you go. It's our second win this year, so this is great.
Andrew Ranger has 3 championships, and he is thinking about a 4th.
Woo! Well, for those of you watching the stream, I believe this is where we say goodbye, unless they hang on for our interviews with second and third place, because I think they're going to be a lot of fun tonight, but I'm not But what a battle, what a show. Watching Lacroix and Cameron go to the back after mixing it up in turn number 3. Andrew Ranger, who at one time was the kid from Roxton Pond, Quebec, who won our championship in 2007, the first year NASCAR came to Canada. He's now that seasoned veteran who will outsmart the competition and stay there till the end and have his best piece when the money is on the line.
I want to thank everybody here from Eastbound Park for your hospitality, Mike. It's always great to get back. 3 years strong. Let's do another 3. That's what we're thinking.
It's almost in the kitty.
All right.
So
I believe we're going to get a conversation with second and third here, but I'm not sure.
Looks like they're still talking about it down there.
Yeah, that's not a replay you're looking at.
We're waiting for Todd Lewis and the crew to get in there and pull them apart. Stick a mic in it. Let's go, boys.
There's an animated conversation going on between Kevin Lacroix and Marc-Antoine Cameron. These two have been chatting with each other since they pulled off the race course at the end of this race, but it is continuing here in pit lane.
Judging by the body language of both of these drivers, I don't think either one is really winning the other over.
Is that security?
Oh, if there's an issue,
there.
NASCAR official Mike Hennig will always be the first one right in the middle. That's the fellow with his arms crossed. And you can see the no-nonsense, and he understands both English and French. So I promise you they are having this conversation en français. And Mike Hennig will make sure it doesn't escalate.
Maybe this would be a good time to screech him in. Again.
Well, how much fun is that? So for those watching the stream, for those of you here in attendance, thank you so much for coming out. It is our absolute privilege to come out and play in Newfoundland, and we're so glad you were here to join us. For Mike James, for Todd Lewis, for Clinton Jeffrey, I'm Adam Ross saying, hopefully we see you next season.
100%.
Thank you, Michael. Thank you, everybody here. We'll see you once again.